We on the record in cause number 328414. The case is styled the State of Texas versus Ray Charles Jones Jr. Mr. Jones, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Jones, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down, Mr. Jones. How are you doing, Mr. Jones?
All right.
That's good. Mr. Jones, you're represented in this case by attorney Nathan Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, the information in this case alleges that on or about November 15th of 2020, while you're in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass. Mr. Jones, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Mr. Jones, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, Mr. Jones, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, I have before me what has been marked as State's Exhibit Number 1. It's the misdemeanor plea admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials next to a line that is checked guilty, and those initials are RJ. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that states defendant, and that signature purports to be your signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is a trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that states defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Second box states that you are waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled the discovery certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
There are no objections, Judge.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Reynolds, you've advised and counseled Mr. Jones. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None to my knowledge, Judge.
Mr. Jones, your attorney, Mr. Reynolds, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your pleas and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. It's for 8 days credit for time served, tax and retire of the court cost.
Okay, now before I do that, let me make sure. Now, Mr. Reynolds, you've advised and counseled Mr. Jones. Is there any
Yes, sir.
evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Yes, I believe he is, Judge. Yes, sir.
He's competent to stand trial. Okay. And Mr. Jones, your attorney has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 8 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you've already served 8 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you won't have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $300 and $32. And you won't have to pay that because the 8 days the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Jones, please follow the bailiff and have a blessed day.